Hey kids, Sarah Cray here with Let's Make Art, and we are painting insects. And today we are doing the dragonfly. Super fun, some fun technique. We are going to do this dragonfly in 3 steps, but really quick, let me introduce you to our cameraman. This is Michael. You will hear him talking. He has great facts, and also we're married, so I like him. I'm a little biased. Okay. So in this project, we are going to do the dragonfly in 3 steps. The very first step, we are going to paint the body of the dragonfly. Second step, we are going to do the wings with a wet on wet technique. And step number 3, we're going to do some fun splatters. So just 1, 2, 3. And before we get painting, we are going to start with our oath. So if you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise not to compare my work.
I promise not to compare my work.
And I promise to have fun.
I promise to have fun.
Thank you. And I like to start that way because sometimes we think that art, or when we paint something, it needs to look exactly like someone else's, or sometimes if you're painting with someone, you think that your painting needs to be better. And I'm here to tell you that is not what painting is about. Painting is about having fun and experimenting and trying new things and learning. So that's what we're focusing on today. Okay, so I have my paintbrush with my paint palette that came in your kit. I'm gonna grab some water and then hit the side of my paintbrush on my cup so it's not dripping wet. And then I'm gonna grab black. Now you can see here that my paint palette is dirty from the last time I painted. So if you wanna start off with a clean color, all you have to do is grab water. And like you can see, I have a little bit of green on my black. I'm just gonna wet the black paint like that, and then take my paper towel, and now my black is clean. So you can do that with any of your colors. So if you get frustrated because your palette is all messed up from mixing, you can just clean them off, no big deal. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some black paint, and I'm just gonna fill in the body using black paint. Now, I chose to use black, but just so you guys know, you don't have to use black. You can use whatever color you want. Maybe you want your dragonfly to be rainbow bodied and rainbow wing, or maybe you want it to be blue. I feel like dragonflies have different colored bodies.
Yeah, I just looked. There's 5,000 species of dragonfly.
Oh my gosh.
Also, you know how dragonflies, you know how insects are usually like a larva and then an adult?
Yes.
Dragonflies are a larva for 2 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're babies for a long time.
Where do larvae live?
Dragonfly larvae are water worms.
Okay, so they live in the water as larvae for 2 years.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then one day they just crawl up and crack open and a dragonfly comes out.
That's amazing. And you can see that I have some spaces here on my body where I left some white areas. And that's just because their bodies are usually a little bit shiny, and so I wanted to leave some white spaces to act as glare. So if you guys ever look at something that's super shiny like metal or plastic or something like that, when light is directly on it, you will see white spaces of where that light is hitting that surface, and that's what makes it shiny. So that's step 1. That's it for my body. Now I'm gonna move on to step 2, doing my wings. And so I'm gonna use a wet on wet technique. And essentially what that means is I'm gonna get my wings wet with water, and then I'm just gonna drop in color and kind of let the color and the water do its thing. So I'm gonna rinse all the black out of my brush. I'm gonna hit my paintbrush off the side of the cup, and I'm gonna start off by just doing the top part of the wing. And you can see that I'm actually using the side of my brush to get this wet. When you use the side of your brush, you get more surface area, which means you cover more space. If I were to just use the tip of my brush, holding my brush straight up and down, I would get a thinner line. But by using the side of your brush, you can get a thicker line and fill in the space faster. So for this blue-green color, I'm gonna mix this green here and then this bluish color here. I wonder if we should name these colors to like make it easier.
That one should be blue.
This one? You're really good at this. You're really good at colors. Okay, so I have it nice and wet with paint, and I'm just gonna drop in the color. Now I'm gonna stay mostly on the top, and then I'm gonna rinse my brush and use a clean brush to kind of move the color a little bit. Now the reason why I'm not going to do this really dark color on the entire part of my wings is because dragonfly wings are transparent. And transparent means you can see through them. So if you were to put something behind the wings, you would still kind of be able to see the thing that you're putting behind it. So if we made our wings super dark with color, they wouldn't seem transparent, they would seem opaque. Opaque means you cannot see something through it. So you want to make sure that you keep your wings really light of value and color so they still seem transparent. And a good way to do that is just to make sure you're using a lot of water. And I know I already said this, but I just want to remind you that I'm choosing to do blue and green for my wings, but you guys can choose whatever colors you want. This is your dragonfly, and this is even your world you're creating. So maybe in your world, you're making up a different kind of dragonfly that maybe nobody has ever seen before. And that's the great thing about painting, is you can do whatever you want. You get to make the rules. It's really wonderful. Okay. So there is one wing. Now I'm going to do the other one. Same thing. Get it nice and wet.
I love the idea that a dragonfly larva was just stuck in the water and dreamt of flying.
Just was like, one day I will fly.
Boom.
Okay. And sometimes when you do wet on wet and you put the paint down, it doesn't spread a lot. Don't get mad when that happens. Sometimes things don't happen the way we want them to. There's nothing wrong with being like, come on, guy, just spread out a little bit for me. Come on, little fella. I'm going to help you. I'm going to push you around a little bit and spread that color where I want that color to go. And I'm going to put a little extra color right where that wing meets the body. And then I'm going to do the bottom wing. Again, I'm going to be using a lot of water because these wings, we want them to seem see-through. Do dragonflies bite?
I think they can. Let me look for you.
Okay. I feel like they can, but then like I don't think I've ever been bitten by one, so I just wasn't sure.
I think I have been bitten by one. I think they sting.
Oh, they sting instead of bite?
It says, yes, if you catch one and hold it in your hand and carelessly allow its mandibles to reach your skin, it will bite as hard as it can in self-defense.
Oh, well, that's fair.
Very few dragonflies can break skin, but some big ones can cause an ouch.
Okay. So kids, if you're catching dragonflies, be careful.
They're not called dragonflies for no reason.
Okay, that's step 2, and now we're going to move on to step 3, which is the best part, which is the paint splatters. Now I do want to warn you guys that this gets a little bit messy, so if there is like a computer or a phone or something by you, you might want to move it a little bit because we are going to splatter some paint around. So I'm going to take my paintbrush, and you can choose whatever colors you want your splatters to be. I'm going to stay with the same colors that I did my wings. So I'm going to grab some blue, this kind of like purplish blue. And this one, it's okay if your brush is a little bit more wet.
That one's called Twilight.
This one?
Yeah.
Great name. So I have my paintbrush nice and wet with paint. And I'm going to put my finger out, and you are going to hit your paintbrush on your finger, which is then going to cause a lot of splatters. Again, I just want to say that because your wings are wet, and you can see it in our example here, this is where paint splatters hit our wings, and because they were wet, they kind of bled out a little bit. I think that's cool, so I'm going to leave it. But if you don't want your wings to be touched, you might want to put a paper towel or something over that if you don't want that to happen.
Do you want to do like a secret call to parents to come over real quick?
Parents.
If you're listening.
If you're listening, maybe clear the table of anything expensive.
Your grandmother's white linens?
Yes.
Move them.
If you're painting on a white tablecloth, that's very fancy. Maybe take that off for a second.
Your gold bars, move them.
Move your diamonds, your jewelry, your tiaras. Okay, but this is watercolor, so it should be able to wash out. All right, we are going to just hit the paintbrush on our finger and create a splatter, just like that. And you can just do it across your page. And so we got some awesome small splatters. Now, if you want them to be big, this is where you want your paintbrush to be really wet. So I'm gonna grab paint, I'm gonna dip my paintbrush, and I'm not gonna hit it off the side of my cup. I want it to be dripping. And then I'm just gonna kinda do this. So it's almost like a hammering motion.
But don't hit your paper.
Don't hit your paper. You're just gonna kind of stop suddenly, which is gonna make the water come off your paintbrush. And then maybe a few extra flicks at the top.
If you commit, you can make
And
art
that's it.
solely out of doing dots like that.
You absolutely can. There actually are a lot of artists who use this splatter technique in a way that they can make portraits and things like that. It's really amazing. So this is a really fun technique that you guys can do a lot of different things with. So that's it. That's our dragonfly. Look how good he turned out.
Yay.
So nice. Again, I just want to remind you that you are free to change the background or add friends or do different colors. This is your world that you're creating. This is your artwork, and you guys get to decide how it looks. So have some fun. If you want to share it, and with a help of a grown-up, maybe if they have Instagram, you can share it on Instagram. You could tag us at Let's Go Make Art or hashtag Let's Make Art. Or if you have any questions, or maybe you just want to send the art so we can take a look, you can email us at hello@letsmakeart.com. If you need any of these art supplies, you can find them on our website, letsmakeart.com. And I think that's all I got to say. You guys were great. Thanks so much for painting with us. Can't wait to see what you came up with.